The train rattled along the tracks, slicing through the vast countryside. Emily adjusted her seat and gazed out the window, lost in thought. She was traveling alone, hoping to escape the monotony of her routine life. Across the aisle, Brooke, another passenger, scrolled through her phone, occasionally glancing around. The two women had exchanged polite smiles but hadn't spoken much. At the next stop, a tall, well-dressed man stepped onto the train, scanning the seats before settling into the one beside Emily. His presence was commanding yet warm. He sat down, his leather bag beside him, nodded in greeting and introduced himself. "I'm Jason," he said with a rich, deep voice. His tone carried a calm, confident rhythm, making his words sound almost like poetry. Emily smiled politely. "Emily," she replied, then gestured toward Brooke, who looked up from her phone. "And this is Brooke." Brooke extended her hand. "Nice to meet you." Jason's handshake was firm yet gentle. "Likewise." For a moment, silence settled between them, filled only by the rhythmic hum of the train. Then Jason spoke again. "Are you both traveling for business or pleasure?" Emily chuckled. "Definitely not business. Just needed a change of scenery." Brooke nodded. "Same here. Solo trips are my thing." Jason's eyes sparkled with amusement.
Ah, aventure au soul.
"I admire that." Emily, intrigued, asked, "And you? What's your story?" He leaned back slightly, his expression thoughtful. "I'm a storyteller of sorts. I travel, I observe, and I share what I see. People fascinate me." Brooke raised an eyebrow. "A writer?" "Not exactly. More of a collector of experiences," Jason said with a knowing smile. Something about the way he spoke made Emily lean in, drawn to his presence. Brooke too found herself setting her phone aside, suddenly interested. Jason continued, weaving a story about his childhood in a small Midwest town, the porch where he used to sit with his grandfather, and his journey across different states. His words painted vivid images: his grandmother's apple pie, the scent of summer rain in Kansas, the way the sun set over the fields, turning the sky into an endless canvas of gold and crimson. Emily listened, mesmerized. She had always been drawn to people with depth, those who saw the world through a lens different from her own. Jason was one of those rare souls who could turn ordinary moments into extraordinary tales. Brooke, equally captivated, asked, "So do you ever get tired of traveling?" Jason shook his head. "No, because every journey teaches me something new." Emily smirked. "And what's this journey teaching you?" Jason studied her for a moment before responding. "That sometimes the most unexpected encounters leave the deepest impressions." A comfortable silence followed. The train rocked gently, and for the first time in a long while, Emily felt completely present in the moment. Brooke, who usually found it hard to connect with strangers, felt something shift within her. There was an energy in the air, an unspoken connection forming between them. Jason wasn't just another passenger. He was someone she wanted to know more about. Emily and Brooke exchanged a glance, sensing that this trip was about to become more memorable than they had anticipated. Emily found herself studying Jason, drawn to the way he spoke with effortless confidence. There was something magnetic about him, something that made her want to know more. Brooke too was intrigued, though for different reasons. She admired his sense of adventure, the way he seemed untethered by expectations. "So what's been your favorite place so far?" Brooke asked, tilting her head. Jason considered the question for a moment. "Not a place," he finally said. "A feeling. The moments when you meet someone, and for a brief time, you exist in the same world." Emily's lips curled into a small smile. "That's a poetic way of looking at it." He chuckled. "Life is poetry if you pay close enough attention." The train continued its journey, the landscape shifting outside. Emily felt something stir inside her, something unfamiliar yet exciting. She had always been careful with her emotions, always analyzing every situation before allowing herself to feel anything. But with Jason, there was no need for overthinking. There was just the moment, and she wanted to exist in it. Brooke, usually skeptical of romantic notions, found herself unexpectedly drawn in. She wasn't one to believe in fate or chance encounters, but Jason had a way of making everything feel intentional. As the conversation deepened, she noticed how Emily was looking at him, how her body leaned slightly forward as if pulled toward him. Jason turned his gaze to Emily. "What about you? What do you want out of life?" The question caught her off guard. I guess I just want to feel something real." His eyes held hers for a second longer than necessary. "And do you?" Emily felt her pulse quicken. Maybe, she admitted softly. Brooke watched the exchange, a flicker of something unreadable in her expression. She wasn't sure why, but a small pang of jealousy surfaced. She had been just as drawn to Jason, yet it seemed Emily had captured his attention in a way she hadn't. Jason shifted slightly, his attention now turning toward Brooke. And you? Brooke shrugged. I like freedom.
No attachments. No expectations.
Jason smiled. Freedom is good. But even the freest souls crave connection. The words lingered, settling in the air between them. Brooke wasn't sure if it was the movement of the train or the weight of the moment, but she suddenly felt unsteady. Emily, sensing the shift, changed the subject. Tell us something unexpected about you. Jason thought for a moment. I once spent a week in a town where nobody knew who I was. I volunteered at a roadside diner, helped paint a mural with kids, and never once touched my phone. We communicated through gestures and laughter. It was one of the most profound experiences of my life. Brooke grinned. Laughter is universal, I suppose. Exactly, Jason said, his eyes twinkling. Emily felt something warm spread through her chest. She hadn't expected this trip to be anything special. Yet here she was, sharing stories with a stranger who felt strangely familiar. Brooke too felt a pull, though she couldn't quite define it. She had never been one to believe in fleeting connections, but perhaps this was different. The train continued forward, but for Emily and Brooke, something had shifted. They had started this journey alone, but now they weren't so sure. The rhythmic hum of the train filled the silence between them, each lost in thought. Emily glanced at Jason, trying to read his expression. Brooke, usually quick with a witty remark, found herself unusually quiet. There was something unspoken hanging in the air, a tension that neither woman wanted to acknowledge. Jason finally broke the silence. It's interesting how connections form in unexpected places. Emily smiled softly. Do you believe in fate? He tilted his head. Not in the way most people do. I believe people cross paths for a reason, but it's up to them to decide what to do with it. Brooke exhaled, leaning back in her seat. So what do you think this is? Jason met her gaze, his expression unreadable. A moment that will stay with us, even after we part ways. His words lingered, and Emily felt her stomach tighten. She had been swept up in the energy of their conversation. In the way Jason seemed to understand parts of her, she hadn't even spoken aloud. But now something about his tone made her hesitate. Brooke, sensing the shift, decided to challenge him. So you're saying this is temporary? Jason's expression remained calm. Everything is. Emily swallowed hard. She hadn't expected anything concrete from this encounter, but hearing it out loud unsettled her. She had allowed herself to feel something real, and now she wasn't sure what to do with it. Brooke crossed her arms. That's a convenient way of looking at things. Jason shook his head. Not convenient, just honest. Emily hesitated before asking. Then what's been real to you? Jason held her gaze. Moments like these, the ones that remind us we're alive. Brooke looked away, hiding the strange mix of emotions swirling inside her. She had been drawn to Jason's presence, his confidence, his charm. But now she wasn't sure what she wanted from him. Emily, on the other hand, felt something deeper, something that scared her. Qu'est on sight? I never meant to complicate things. Emily forced a smile. You didn't. We just got caught up in the moment. Brooke let out a small laugh. Yeah, guess we did. Jason studied them both for a long moment before speaking again. I've learned that love isn't always about possession. Sometimes it's about appreciating what's in front of you, even if it's just for a little while. Emily nodded, her chest feeling unexpectedly heavy. Brooke, though less sentimental, felt something stir inside her. She had always prided herself on being independent, but now she wondered if she had been avoiding something deeper all along. The train began to slow, signaling another stop ahead. Jason glanced out the window, his face unreadable. Emily and Brooke exchanged a look, both realizing that no matter what happened next, they wouldn't leave this train the same way they had boarded. Emily watched the scenery blur past the window, her mind racing. The weight of Jason's words lingered, stirring something deep inside her. She wasn't sure if it was admiration or frustration. Brooke too seemed restless, shifting in her seat as if trying to find comfort in something that suddenly felt uncertain. The train slowed as it approached the next station. Jason exhaled, his gaze fixed outside. This is my stop, he said quietly. Emily's heart clenched. She knew this moment would end, but hearing it aloud made it real. Brooke looked away, masking the same feeling. "So that's it?" she asked, forcing a light tone. Jason turned to them, his expression unreadable. "Every journey has an end, but that doesn't mean it wasn't meaningful." Emily bit her lip, wanting to say something, but unsure what. She had met him only hours ago, yet it felt like she had known him forever. The connection was undeniable, but what did it mean if it ended here? Brooke, usually composed, felt something unfamiliar: regret. She had dismissed the idea of attachment, but now, watching Jason prepare to leave, she realized she wanted more time. "You said we get to decide what to do with moments like this," she said. "So what if we don't want it to end?" Jason studied her carefully. "Then you take the risk of holding on." Emily swallowed hard. "And you? Are you willing to hold on?" Jason hesitated, then smiled sadly. "I think some moments are meant to stay as they are, perfect in their imperfection." The train came to a stop, the finality of it settling in. Passengers shuffled around them, unaware of the silent battle unfolding between the three of them. Jason reached for his bag, standing up slowly. Emily and Brooke exchanged a glance, both understanding that no words could change what was happening. Jason met their eyes one last time. "You both have beautiful souls. Don't let the world make you forget that." With that, he turned and stepped off the train. Emily watched him disappear into the crowd, a strange ache settling in her chest. Brooke clenched her jaw, forcing herself to stay composed. The train doors slid shut, and just like that he was gone. Emily exhaled, leaning back against her seat. "That was unexpected." Brooke nodded. "Yeah." Silence stretched between them before Brooke let out a small laugh. "You think we'll ever see him again?" Emily considered it, then smiled softly. "Maybe some moments are just meant to stay with us, even if the people don't." Brooke sighed but nodded in agreement. The train continued forward, carrying them toward their separate destinations. But neither of them would ever forget the man who had made them feel something real, if only for a fleeting moment.